Okay, so the next tool we're starting to look at is the Porter Matrix. And the idea behind the Porter Matrix is it's just yet another tool that we've got available in our toolbox that's going to help us make some decisions. Right? They don't make a decision for us, they just help us guide our decision-making process, shape our thoughts a little bit, and make sure we're actually making a decisive and clear choice in line with our business goals. Now, Porter had an argument, and Porter's argument was that really a firm or a business positions itself by leveraging its strengths. And the two strengths that they're really looking for, and the two headings they're going for here, is that you're either looking at your cost advantage or you're looking at your product differentiation. And they're the two things that you're going to start to consider. So really, in order for you to obtain a sort of sustainable competitive advantage, what you really need to do is fall into one of three main strategies. And the first strategy is to become the cost leader within your organization, well, within your industry. Okay, so cost leadership. The next thing that you can ultimately do, if you're not going to be a cost leader, is you might consider differentiation. In other words, showing how you're different to the competitors. Or your other third opportunity here is to really focus and become a niche or niche player within your industry. Okay, so focusing on a very tight area. So to give you a bit of an idea about how those things work, so when we're talking about cost leadership, what we're trying to do is become the lowest cost provider, okay, or one of the lowest cost providers. And we see that out there in the market all the time with things like discount airlines. In Australia, you go down the road and you hop on your Tiger Air, or Jetstar's a typical one there. If I'm in the UK, there's a whole bunch of other ones, Ryanair, for example. Okay, low cost budget airlines. Okay, so what they're really trying to do is to go into the broad market. Okay, they're looking at industry-wide, as broad a market as they can get, and crack that price point down, stack them high, sell them cheap. That's really what they're trying to do here. All right, driving down the costs as much as possible to pass on the cost saving to the consumer as much as possible. Now, that's really the aim and the goal. Drive it down, pass on the savings. Okay, not everyone who does that passes on the full savings. That's a different conversation. But this is just to get a bit of an idea about what you're really attempting to do there. So once again, if you're going to be able to do that and drive your prices down, you need to be able to sell as many units as possible, which means you need to keep your focus industry-wide. Okay, you can't do that in a sort of specialist area. So really, it's based on being able to produce a quality product, lowest price point. Okay, don't scrimp on the quality. It still has to do what you promise on the label. If you make it too cheap and it doesn't work, then it's going to lead to other industry problems. So make sure it's still a functional product. Don't drive it to the point of it doesn't work anymore. That would be bad. All right, so once again, you're trying to get, in your case, is you're going to try and improve your margin a little bit that way, lower the cost, pass it on, keep a bit of margin for yourself, and you should be okay to go. All right, so that's one way we can look at the strategy. The other one is we start to look at differentiation. Okay, so once again, we still want to be industry-wide. We're still focusing on that broad base. We don't want to cut down our potential market. What we want to do is we want to show ourselves as being different or have a competitive advantage within our market. Okay, this is where we try and say, well, actually, yeah, we're still in there. We're still aiming at everybody, but this is what we can offer that other people won't. How do we have a new design feature? How do we have a new product delivery methodology? How do we have whatever it happens to be that we're really looking at there, our point of difference. Okay, and that's what we want to do. We want to stand out, have something a little bit more unique and interesting, okay, that makes us stand out from our competitors. It could be that we have just the best service. It could be that we have, good patents that allow us to do different things that other people don't have. Our product development is past someone else. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to be unique in our industry. Okay, so we're a little bit interesting. We're still major mass market. We're just trying to be that little bit more interesting than everyone else is. Okay, and we need to be able to market that and pass it on. So this one, stack them high, sell them cheap. This one, still dealing in the same market, but coming up with a way that we can be a little bit different to our competitors and give us that advantage that way. So it can be faster, better, more nimble, whatever it is, or have a uniqueness of the product. Okay, so that's the uniqueness there. What do we do that's different? Why do we stand out from everyone else in the market? Now we might also decide that what we want to do is, rather than keep playing in the big broad market, we might say, well, look, we don't need the whole market. We're happy with a slice of market. And what we're going to do is we're going to get into that market and really focus on them, okay, and really drive our point of difference home. So what we're trying to do is we want to become well known for providing a good or service in that segment. We're not going for everybody anymore. We're really sharpening it down and going after those people. Okay, and what we're trying to do is basically become better than anyone else at what we do. Okay, so if you're looking at the car market and it's a luxury cars, it might be Rolls-Royce and Bentley. Okay, they're massively, they're great brands. They've got a great history. They're not cheap. They're not aimed to be cheap. They've gone after the luxury car market and they just try and be the best they can at it. And within that segment, luxury cars, they pretty much own it, right? And that's what they've done. They're not trying to make cars for everybody. They've really focused it down and kept it tight. So what we're really trying to do there is, differentiate ourselves by just taking a slice, going after it. And once again, we can start to differentiate ourselves within that market. Obviously it is pretty intense. We do need to chase a certain amount of people, but it might be able to, just place us in a position where others just can't compete with us. Once we can dominate that slice of pie, rather than be mixed in with everybody else or maybe another, okay, it might just be a decision we make. Right? But once again, we're trying to get into a position of deciding which box we want to fall into. Now, the mistake that happens in business is when we try and have differentiation and overall cost leadership. All right? These things, we need to sort of pick a box. We can't straddle the fence or get stuck in the middle. We need to decide which way are we going to go. If we're going to have overall cost leadership, but we want to be different and we're going to focus on people at the same time, well, look, in order to focus, we need to be segmented. Okay, we can't go industry-wide and focus. It's too big. It starts to fall over pretty quickly. We need to be fairly decisive about where we want to be and make sure that we have a clear strategy. Not this sort of, we want to be different, but we also want to be the lowest cost while also serving a niche market. Okay, that's really not going to happen. So make sure you just, make a decision, find out where you want to be, because if you get stuck, what will happen is your business won't do much at all. And once it starts doing not much at all, all of a sudden, someone can come in and take it over, or you'll end up wasting a whole lot of time, money, and resources, not really get any great outcome, and then basically you'll just get overtaken by your competitors. So, okay, make the decision. Is it you're going to be the high, cheap? Is it you're going to be different? Or is it you're going to become the best in your field, targeting that segment and nailing them completely away? All right, if you manage to do that, you'll come up with your, your strategies to support it. Think of this tool in collaboration with other tools. Don't just rely on one. Start to think about all your different ones. Use your Boston Consultant Group's matrix if you've looked at that as well. Start to think about this as another tool to help guide that decision, and that's what we're ultimately trying to do. Make a decision. And if you make good decisions in a timely manner, you'll have a successful business. All right, good luck with that.